Welcome to the Ceta sector.
Jane, Dexheart,
Taloo, Davuna,
Pappy,
Melvin, Chaag.
The planet Godsbin has 5 moons: change, creation, magic, preservation, and ruin.
Mackie. Before you get all flustered, no, we don't have the money for it right now.
Descend into the depths here.
Okay, hold on. I'm hearing whispers.
Anybody getting like a real unsettled feeling right now?
A huge 20-sided object.
would you like me to grab it?
Do you think it talks?
No, it's not gonna talk. It's like a rock.
And a little rain of debris and dust falls on Chaag's
Oh,
head.
it's trapped.
I want to stack some gold.
You guys speed back into Mackie Wells's port, a black Corvette directly across from the Scarab.
Guys, I think the cops are here.
My name is Jaina Havakan. You are hereby placed under arrest.
I start firing my blaster rifle.
Hello, travelers, and welcome back to the Jester's Space Court. I am your GM, your Galaxy Master, Jonas Tintenseher. Today, playing Scum and Villainy for Episode 2 of Into the Whalestrom.
Woo!
Joining me is Sky Swanson.
The Texan gal doing her part. She's your pal. It's Jane Dexheart.
Adorable.
Ooh.
Rachel Kordell.
You're a mystic meister, Taloo. I forgot my last name. Taloo Davuna.
See, I don't have that problem. I don't have to worry about that.
It was the cheese stick. I'm sorry.
Casey Reardon.
It's me, your aged aviator of the celestial skies, Pappy.
Nice, very nice.
Nice.
Good.
Seth Coveyou.
Hi, I'm Seth.
And I'll play Chaag, the mineral badass.
Nice.
Ooh.
I was wondering what the one thing would be this time. It's a good one. And last but not least, by any stretch of the imagination, it's Mr. Andrew Frost.
Ah, thanks, champ. I'm going to be playing Melvin, the mechanical MD.
Nice.
Woo.
Those were all great, guys.
Thank you.
Stamp of approval.
I learned it from you.
You and I forgot my name.
The name is consistent though. That's easy.
Yeah, you're right.
When we last left off, you guys had taken a diamond necklace from a previous job said to open something big on the planet of Godsbin in the Mara system in the Ceta sector. You guys descended to Godsbin, found its old temple, went through its depths hearing strange voices, and found within a beach ball-sized stony icosahedron, better known in gaming circles as a D20. However, the temple immediately decided to collapse on you, as temples do in these sorts of situations. And when you finally escaped and made your way back to the ship, you were accosted by a figure clad in black armor who introduced themselves as Jaina Havakan and said that you were all under arrest, to which your fine mineral badass friend Chaag decided, yeah, I'm going to open fire. And that is where we will kick off this episode. Chaag, you are going to start making some kind of roll to fire at these soldiers.
To be fair, they probably said you are under R, and that's when the bullets or plasma bolts started firing.
Mid sentence there. So, Chaag, why don't you tell me first what you want to roll here with your blaster?
I would love to roll Scrap.
That makes sense to me. Scrap is the most all-purpose fighty action type thing. So you are going to go ahead and roll that. Remember also, as with any roll in this system, you're going to roll a d6 dice pool, and you can either push yourself, take a chaos bargain, get an assist from one of your allies, which we might find out in a moment because we're going to go around and see what everyone else is doing in this hectic situation, or spend one of your team's 3 gambits.
I'm going to push myself.
All right.
Didn't we?
Take
Are you
some
talking about
stress.
in the when we were escaping? How many 6s we got?
No, so gambits, you get a gambit whenever you succeed on a risky action with a 6,
Okay.
So Chaag is going to go ahead and roll to scrap with these soldiers coming at you. Remember, there's one in the middle, Jaina Havocan, and there's 4 soldiers on either side of her. But before we get to that roll resolution, because it might change depending on what else is happening in the scene, in this chaotic moment, as Chaag just quick draws a blaster and opens fire. Heavy blaster, even better. Quick draws a huge blaster. Does your blaster have a name, by the way?
Yeah, Duke.
Duke.
Ooh,
absolutely.
The Duke.
Duke, the heavy blaster. What is everyone else doing in this sudden moment of chaos? To set the scene a little bit, I'll remind you guys are in the middle of Mackie Wells' ramshackle port here on Godsbin. There's only like 2 other ships currently docked, and there's maybe a dozen people on the main thoroughfare who are probably about to dive for cover or get out of the way when this gunfight starts. There's shipping crates and spare parts and docking clamps and all sorts of mechanical devices strewn about kind of haphazardly, as well as the harbor master's office on the far side here. So Jane, Taloo, Pappy, and Melvin, what are y'all doing?
Gut reaction for Pappy is to get to the ship because he knows Chaag was about to fire anyway, as they have been together for quite some time. So he's gonna slip his thumbs into like the suspender part of his overalls, give him a tug, and that is going to activate his fine customized spacesuit, which just sort of materializes around him, giving him some boosters, and he's going to fly over towards the ship.
Absolutely.
That's brilliant.
Wonderful. You probably won't need to roll for that. This is, of course, a fiction first game. We only really roll if there's a risk involved, something that could change. So given that Chaag is taking the majority of the attention, you probably won't need to roll for that, but we'll see exactly how that resolves in a moment here. As your spacesuit kind of inflates out of your overalls and helmet over your head, boost off toward the ship. Taloo, Jane, Melvin?
To get into character real fast, though.
There you go.
Grip it and rip it, baby.
Just, I just got to get into character. I think Jane, we're on like a shipping platform basically, so there's like crates and like stuff like that also.
Yeah, it's
okay. Jane's not much of a fighter. She's mostly a tugger, so I imagine her in combat more of a support / distraction. So she like quickly does like a bit of a duck roll behind some crates. She's also been running with Chaag and Pappy for a while, so she might have seen that coming too. Pappy 100% saw it coming. Jane, if you'll allow me, whips out like a little portable shield thing and throws it in front of Chaag. That way then it can pop up to protect Chad from any incoming blaster fire as like an improvised cover kind of thing, if that's something that I could do.
I think we can essentially count that as armor that you will then use to protect Chaag with.
Yes. Okay, then. So I prepare armor if Chaag gets shot at.
This is a good time to bring it up as any. The way that items work in this game is you never plan ahead of time what you're going to bring, because you guys are daring scoundrels and you do the planning when we, in the between scenes when we don't have to sit around and actually plan for things that we don't know might happen. So whenever you need an item in this game, you just say you have it. And you can do that a number of times up to the maximum load that you selected for the job you're going on. It just kind of reflects that general flashback, scoundrel daring heist sense where they whip out something you didn't know they had and help solve the day. So in this case, that is Jane whipping out this portable, like hard light shield deployer mechanism.
There you go. You got that.
There's a word for it.
A generator, if you will.
Like a drop shield.
A drop shield,
there you go.
kind of thing.
Drop
Yes,
shield.
that's the word.
And Jane, as sort of a final thing, will call out to them. It's just say, a lot of people have died in this spaceport. Don't make us add you to that list.
Ooh.
Yeehaw.
You wanted to try and intimidate them that way?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go for it.
So Taloo, I believe Melvin, you're carrying the object, right?
Yes, I believe so.
All right. So between you and Taloo, what's up?
I assume Melvin's best interest would be to run to the ship with the item.
Sure. Get the item to safety. That makes sense to me.
Okay.
Yeah. So while the chaos, I'll scramble over.
Mm-hmm.
I just had this really funny image of like everyone like quickly like bursting into action And Taloo kind of just like giving it a sigh and just like casually like walking over to the nearest pile of boxes, pulling out a blaster and like aiming it like, God, here we go.
I love it.
Like if there were any shot, like in that time span, whatever happens, if, you know, Jane yells out after she gets behind a box, whatever, if there were any shots they just happen to miss, like, I don't know, like if that would even be allowed, just to kind of casually end up behind a box.
Taloo is played by Aubrey Plaza in the live action adaptation.
Oh my God, please.
All right. So to see which of those actions we need to roll for, depending on sort of what changes the fiction, we will return to Chaag and see just how well he does firing at these presumably space cops. We're not really sure.
Yeah. So it was Yana. Is that their name?
Jaina.
They're talking, and while they're talking, the camera is only on them, and they get through under our, and then they have to flinch, and it cuts to Chaag just like firing off as many rounds as they can, and so they've tried to go into cover like around their unmarked black Corvette, and the rocks around it, and the firing stops, and they look at each other, and it goes back to just them kind of perplexed, and Chaag goes,
That was a warning shot.
Oh, nice.
Like 60 of them, so no more.
That's a lot of warnings to give, so.
Yeah,
Nice.
you don't get any more.
so because I rolled the highest was a 3. I missed all of them.
Just shoot out an outline of them.
In that case, that's a hard failure, and they are pretty well equipped here. So the consequence of that, and this is another thing to note, NPCs in this game don't roll dice. I determine their actions and results based on the rolls of the players, so a failure or mixed success leaves an opening for an NPC to act, essentially. In this case, as you fire off the salvo, they all flinch, duck for cover. The leader in the armor, Jaina, she actually does not like scramble for cover. She kind of takes a similar approach to Taloo, trusting that her armor will protect her, and just sort of like flinches as the first shot, like bounces off her armor entirely, and just sort of strolls over to the crates that her subordinates have taken cover by. And as soon as the firing starts, the same way that you interrupted her speech with your shots, you get about halfway through saying, that was a warrant, when all 4 of the underlings leap up over the cover with their blaster rifles and take fire. So I am going to ask Pappy and Melvin. I'm just gonna throw it at all of you. Chaag, you are out in the open. You're gonna take the brunt of the fire here. That's gonna be a level 2
armor thing goes up though.
harm. But Jane jumps in to protect you with armor, which automatically resists the roll for you. And because Pappy and Melvin are just both running for the ship, or in Pappy's case, boosting,
Yep.
I'm going to say some shots also come your way, and both of you, they're not focusing the full brunt of their force on you, so both of you are going to take the level 1 harm grazed, unless you would like to resist.
I would like to resist.
Great, let's talk about resistance rolls. So, all actions in this game, there are 12 actions in this game. They are split into 3 attributes: insight, prowess, and resolve. And whenever I, the GM, say that something bad happens to you, you just get to say, okay, or no way. And if you say no way, you resist by using one of your attributes, counting the first column of action dots you have under that attribute, which in this case, this is a prowess resistance because you're trying to dodge blaster fire, or perhaps just take it on the chin and not worry too much about it. So what is your overall prowess rating, Pappy?
I have 1.
1. So the important thing to note about resisting harm, or resisting any consequence really, is that if you choose to resist, it means it doesn't happen, or at least it's reduced in severity. You get the resistance guaranteed. What's in question is how much stress, how difficult it is for you to do that. So if you have 1 die in prowess, 1 dot in that prowess column, Pappy, you're going to roll 1d6.
Yep. Which one to choose? This one. A 6.
A 6?
I chose correctly.
Hey.
You're going to take 6 minus 6 stress, and therefore 0, as you effortlessly weave through the blaster fire on your jetpack.
Oh, it's not a jetpack, it's rocket boots.
Rocket boots. I'm so sorry. The rocket boots on your spacesuit, weaving effortlessly through the web of blaster fire. As Taloo and Jane get ready to possibly return, and Melvin, are you going to resist or are you going to take that level 1 harm?
Ow.
You're going to take level 1 harm grazed, and as one of the bolts kind of scrapes off your shoulder and scorches your plating there as well. You guys make it to the ship. Pappy, I assume, was already bringing the docking ramp down so that you could board. Taloo and Jane, and also Chaag, these soldiers are now completely covering your cover with suppressive fire. What are the three of you doing? Are you going to fire back? You're going to dodge? You're going to try and talk to them? Jane, you wanted to try and intimidate them.
Yeah, can I do that roll now?
Yeah, absolutely. So intimidation probably falls under command. If you want to try and make it more of a charming or guileful thing, it could be sway. Or again, you could try and make a deal with them to consort. Now, what you said was pretty intimidating, but I'll let you get some wiggle room here if you want.
Well, intimidate, I only have 1 in that, but in consort and sway, I have 2. So I think I said it in a more jovial tone.
Okay.
So
trying to play the scoundrel.
Trying not to kill them.
I'm gonna say that's fine. This is risky position, and we're gonna say limited effect here because not only are you trying to sway them with a command against their lives, but also they're already firing at you and ready to kill. So
yeah,
limited effect. You can push yourself for better effect if you want.
I will push myself.
Okay. Silver Tongue Jane is just so damn convincing. 2 stress to push yourself.
Woo.
Silver Tongue Jane is just so damn convincing that she can maybe pull this off even in the midst of a firefight.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll your sway.
That's a 6 and a 2, baby. It's Silver Tongue Jane. Oh my god, I was very nervous about that.
And so we'll resolve that in a moment as well. I want to know what Taloo and Chaag are doing here.
Well, I would presume to keep firing, but I would like to see the resolution.
Sure.
Jane's. Depending on how that goes, I mean, I have a cover strategy.
Okay.
Yeah, when she goes for cover, she's not necessarily shooting right away. She's more the sit and aim and see how this plays out before shooting kind of thing. So I would just kind of be holding, especially if Jane's speaking.
Now, with a 6, you did push yourself for standard effect here. There's something I could do if you had rolled a crit, which would be multiple 6s. I think with a full success, the best you're going to get here is that they will momentarily stop firing and open themselves up to parlay. So you see, or you don't see, but maybe the camera sees Jaina, hold up a fist, and her soldiers immediately stop firing and keep their guns trained on you, but they hold off the trigger. And you hear Jaina's, again, masked voice coming through that says,
I agree. Death is not our aim today. Hand over the artifact, and you will be processed with minimal harm to your physical bodies.
Now, Jane.
Jane holds up a hand and she gives you a wink, and it's just like on Mantis Hollow, and starts walking towards them, and is like, well, you see now the artifact, we don't have it right now. We went to go grab it, but it wasn't there, which was just the strangest thing. And behind her back, she's holding up 3 fingers, and then 2 fingers, and then 1 finger. And on Mantis, we had a play where you just threw a grenade at some people that I was distracted.
Yeah, my idea was that I want to use a flashback.
Yeah.
And
oh, right, flashbacks. That's what I should have just done there.
For absolutely no reason, Pappy had yelled at Chaag after landing and before going into the ancient ruin that Chaag shouldn't have brought as many detonators. It's a little too much. So there's a bag of detonators right in front of the cargo that they are using for cover.
That you set it down because you left it there ahead of time. I see.
Yeah.
You just left explosives.
I just left explosives.
You just left all of our
That's
explosives.
very Chaag, though.
Not all of them, but a lot of them.
This is thank you for bringing it up, Seth. This is an important mechanic in this game is flashbacks. Much like load, the players aren't expected to plan for everything ahead of time. We just want to play a game. So instead, you just, at any moment in any part of the game, can call for a flashback to something you already took care of earlier in order to overcome an obstacle, procure some information, or in this case, leave a bunch of grenades lying around. And the flashbacks cost stress. They might invoke an action roll to see if you were able to do the thing in the past. In this case, I'm just going to call that a 1 stress flashback to have, just because that's a lot of firepower you're leaving around there.
Absolutely.
And then it becomes true. There is now a bundle of detonators just out of sight of these 5 attackers. As Jane is counting down 3, 2, 1. Taloo, I'd like to know your move here as well, or if you're just going to let the explosion go off.
I think seeing the fingers, I know exactly what is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I would not do anything to stop it at all.
You put your fingers in your ears.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, prep for loud bang noise.
All right. So, Jane, because you got a 6 on that roll, Jaina here pulls up like a sci-fi doodad that tracks all kinds of stuff, and she looks at it, and you can kind of see from your position, they were tracking some kind of reading on the artifact itself. Mm-hmm. So you know that she knows it's in your ship right goddamn now. And she looks down at the device, looks up as if to correct you, just as your last finger comes down, and there is this tremendous explosion that tosses sand, rock, and crates everywhere. All 4 of her troopers go flying. They all do individually pitched Wilhelm screams.
Beautiful.
And Jaina herself is kind of has to shield herself with her armor from the force of the blast, although she is not sent flying like they are. I am gonna ask then for those of you out in public. Well, Chaag and Taloo, you're still in cover, so you can pretty much get to the ship from here.
That's definitely my next action.
In the aftermath of that, without I'm gonna say you guys don't need to roll for that. I'm gonna give the 2 of you, because that's a huge explosion, I'm gonna give Taloo and Chaag the level 1 harm deafened.
Okay.
I covered my ears.
You may resist with prowess if you want.
I don't have ears.
And Jane, because you were halfway closer to the explosion, I'm going to give you a level 2 harm. In this case, exploded.
I will resist.
All right. So those are all prowess resists.
I would also like to resist. I covered my ears.
5, baby.
5. Woo! All right. This guy with a 5, you're going to take 6 minus 5 is 1 stress, which means you walk away from that explosion very easily.
It still knocks me back.
Because you're still close to that explosion, I'm going to say resisting in this case will lower the harm to level 1. So you're just going to be kind of dazed rather than exploded.
Okay.
4.
So you're going to take 6 minus 4 is 2 stress. And Chaag?
Oh, I am just taking deafened.
Okay.
But I would like to use this opportunity to make an advantageous move against Jaina.
Okay, sure.
Am I not deafened because I resisted?
Correct. So because you resisted, it means the thing straight out didn't happen, or maybe was just reduced, as in Sky's case.
I covered my ears.
You covered your ears successfully. It was still loud enough to break through a little bit. Chaag, what do you want to do? Actually, hold on, Chaag. I'm going to go over to Pappy and Melvin real quick as they get into the ship. I want to know what are you guys doing in the ship? Presumably you're getting ready to make a hurried takeoff, but you also have ship weapons you might try to utilize here. Or if you want to make sure the artifact is stowed away securely, what do you guys do when you get on board?
I think hiding the artifact is one of the most important things we can do.
Okay.
I'm going to run into Jane's room, go into the liquor cabinet that no one knows about except for me.
How dare you?
Because usually she steals from my alcohol supply for cleaning wounds.
She drinks medical alcohol.
Hey, I mean, sometimes you just need your fix, you know?
It's canon now. Yeah.
I love it.
But I'm going to put it behind the bottles, block it back off. No one will ever know.
Okay. That's a pretty big liquor cabinet to hold this beach ball sized object.
It definitely is.
Which is totally fine.
Yeah, that cabinet goes deep.
Yeah, no
Unfortunately.
objection. I'm just laughing at the image.
All the bottles get smashed onto the ground below it and then resealed.
Oh no.
And Pappy?
I would like to set up a flashback.
Yeah.
So we flash to, we have just landed. Everybody's sort of gathering up their equipment, getting ready to go. And Pappy's still in the cockpit. And next to him is this small little robot with a kind of oval head, a sideways oval head that kind of floats above a triangular body. And Pappy says, now, Beck, I need you to just be ready for, any sort of quick takeoff here. I don't trust these moving tectonic plates and whatnot. If this goes sideways, then just take her up and find us later, I guess. And the little robot just gives a thumbs up.
Understood.
Aww.
So we have prepped for a quick takeoff here.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm going to say in this hasty situation, that is also going to be a one stress flashback.
A one stress flashback
to make that happen in a timely manner.
Sure.
But we cut back to the present. Pappy, you slam into the helm, grab a hold of the controls. Beck is there, gives you a little sloop.
Yep.
Does Beck hover, or do they have treads, or
Beck hovers.
Beck hovers? Okay.
Technically,
And,
it's B3C.
Understood. I was wondering about that.
Is the name.
B3C. And as you get the ship to gear, the engines start humming, the flaps deploy, the vertical takeoff begins, leaving the rest of your crew on the ground only a few precious moments to get inside. Chaag, you wanted to create some kind of advantage.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of get advantage on another move because I knew when the bomb was going to go off, the detonators to go off.
That's true.
Jaina did not, and is now cowering amidst the aftermath of the explosion, with her head down, presumably. Bombs go off, boom. She's looking down, she looks up, but it's not soon enough because a red foot is going right into her face.
Oh.
As Chaag continues to the black Corvette, running up the gangplank and shutting the door behind him.
Oh.
Ooh.
Okay. Interesting.
And that is going to be an advantage for the group because now the space cops don't have a ship.
Have a ship. Uh-huh.
No, but we have a 3-star
I
rating
see.
now. Now the helicopters are going to come. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, hopefully there's no one else on the ship.
There's no issues with this plan whatsoever. It's
I don't see
genius.
one.
Jack, do you know how to fly?
Yeah, I know how to fly.
All right.
Learn from the best.
Well, that's my ship. The Scarab is technically my ship.
Technically your
Just
ship.
because you own something doesn't mean you know how to use it.
That's true.
Chaag, I'm gonna give you an out here.
Okay.
I'm not gonna make you roll for that because the consequence you'll get, no matter what, is that you run up the docking ramp or the docking ramp. Is that what they call it? Landing
Yeah.
ramp.
Sure.
You run up the ramp.
Yeah.
And as soon as your head pops into the level of the ship, which you see the interior is very sleek, modern, top of the line technology here, you pop up and there are indeed 6 more black suited soldiers with blaster rifles in the hangar waiting to be deployed.
Okay.
And you just thunder up the ramp, and then as they all they all do a double take at you. Yeah, they look at each other, raise their rifles.
Special delivery, and I throw more detonators.
It is
The
dead
rest
on.
of them, the ones that we didn't use in the temple.
It is dead on the scene in
God.
episode 4 where Han Solo's
Yes.
chasing the stormtroopers.
Yep.
Runs into a room with columns.
Cuts to them running away from way more.
The good news for Jane and Taloo, though, is that is plenty of a distraction to get you guys back on board the Scarab.
Good.
So is there anything else you guys do on the ground here, or are you getting right back in the ship?
I hit over the comms. We're all on board. Let's get out of here.
No, we're not.
What do you mean?
You're forgetting someone important. The rock fella, Chaag.
Chaag didn't already get on board. I assumed he was ahead of me. Where is he?
No, I like it just the boom.
Just
exactly.
a huge explosion, and a couple of screams. Oh God!
All right. This is the way we're going to do this rather than, again, this system encourages you to just kind of skip to the action, not make too many rolls that you don't need to make, and not zoom in too hard unless you really want to zoom in on something. So Chaag, here's what happens. You're going to take level 3 harm, riddled with blaster bullets. I assume you're going to want to resist and get yourself back to the ship, and we will resolve that whole sequence that way.
Yeah, I am going to resist, and I'm expecting that the blackout troopers are going to take level 5 harm dead.
Presumably, yes.
I rolled a 6.
You'll love to see it.
Of course you do.
You'll love to see it.
No stress for this insane move.
Oh my god. That's just every day for Chaag.
Just another
That's
Tuesday.
every day.
This is Chaag, baby. The
You
muscle.
turn, they start just rapid firing at you with these blaster rifles. The guys outside, a couple of them have picked themselves up from the explosion as well and also start firing you as you're just Terminator sprinting across the dock to your ship.
Can I kick Jaina in the head again? And she's getting
Rubbing
just
her
make a
head.
fool out of my cool, edgy villain, why don't you?
Hey, we don't know she's the villain yet. We could be working for the villain.
That's true. We don't know.
You just
No, this is scum and villainy. They're all villains.
you run back, kick Jaina back in the head as she is slowly rising to her feet, and leap onto the docking ramp as it's beginning to close. The Scarab, Pappy guns the
See ya,
engines
doctor. You have 2 concussions.
and takes off, zooming out into orbit and on to the jump gate to get back to your fixer. Back on the ground, we will end that scene with a final little note from Jaina there. She picks herself up. Her helmet is partially cracked and broken open, the faceplate. There is a small patch now showing one glowing gold eye.
Ooh.
And two of her troopers that are still alive, most of which they are not, come up to her, kind of limping over and Madam Fury, what do we that went badly. and Jaina, just with her one glowing golden eye, just tracks the Scarab as it leaves the atmosphere and says nothing as her little device tracking the artifact continues to beep with its readings.
Yeah.
And gang, that is our first successful score.
I pull out my cigars. Everybody cigars.
Minimal heat.
Jaina take a
Took out
cigar.
a police cruiser. That's fine.
They're probably not real police.
Now, your fixer promised you payment for this job, and we will cover that scene in a moment. In addition to the promised pay, Chaag also grabbed some gold bricks. We're going to say that those gold bricks collectively, what you were able to carry is worth about 1 cred.
Nice.
You now have 2.
Nice.
Next is upkeep. The game encourages you to skip to the interesting parts, so at some point in the next stretch of screen time, basically, this process says you guys spend some time in port repairing your ship from any damage it took during the run, and also doing regular maintenance. Now, upkeep, because you guys have a very beginner ship, upkeep only costs 1 cred. However, you can also skip upkeep if you don't feel like paying, and that maybe introduces a complication, or maybe you get away with it this time. So, as a group, do we want to spend the cred on upkeep, or do we want to let it slide and we'll cover it next time, definitely?
This baby's got a couple more miles in her.
We'll get it next time. It'll be fine. Besides, somehow in all the ruckus and whatnot, my cabinet came open, all my alcohol spilled out, so I got to replace that anyway.
This is a hybrid. You only need oil change every 65 light years.
Yeah.
I think in all honesty, Pappy would want to upkeep the ship. He does like to keep a tidy ship.
Yeah, I think upkeep is important.
I mean, maybe we cut the cost. It's really boring, but I could do a bunch of drugs and do the upkeep myself.
What? I can do the upkeep more than... Don't touch the ship. I know it's yours, Chaag, but please, for the love of all that is space holy, do not touch the ship.
I kind of like where he's going with this, though. I'd be curious to see Chaag try and repair stuff on drugs.
Jane, do not encourage him.
Fine, Pappy, but I'm keeping the spanner wrench.
What kind of drugs are we doing?
Pappy,
I got
I'd be
some-
delighted to help with repairs.
I got some floor dugs.
Florg wax?
Florgwax, that's what it was.
Yes, if there's an issue, we can deal with it. But I would prefer if we just pay the people to do it.
Okay, fine.
So we're going to spend the spare cred, which, to be fair, is extra cred on top of your payment anyway. And
I think it's smart to do it.
Not skip the upkeep. All right. The next thing that happens is heat, as Seth alluded to. For example, you get 2 heat for a contained standard exposure, 4 heat for a loud and chaotic, or 6 heat for, I love this phrasing, wild, devastating exposure. There's also additional
Sounds
heat
like
for
a Friday night.
There's also additional heat for doing things like killing important people or civilians, or using mystical artifacts in public. Now, in this case, due to reasons you guys aren't familiar with yet, it actually wasn't as bad an idea to attack those possibly space cops as you might with regular compass troops. So this is actually only a 1 heat exposure.
I'm a fucking genius, baby! I know this game! I'm a legend!
But I am going to add the additional heat for the nature of the target, as well as the large explosions and murdered people.
Damn it!
For a total of 2 heat.
Where is heat on the...
Yeah.
So heat in this game is tracked by the system.
Oh.
So just because you now have 2 heat in the Mara sector, and
it's
no
in the
heat
sector.
anywhere
Got
else. Or in the system, sorry, the Ceta sector Mara system.
Right. Okay.
So you now have 2 heat in Mara, but you can resolve that by going to a different system and laying low there for a while, and eventually things will cool off.
Which is that where we're going anyway?
Like GTA. Yeah.
Like GTA. Exactly.
You have to go hide in a bush for a bit for the cops to go away.
Yeah.
Also, Jane's going to owe that fish guy more money.
Oh, God, I didn't even think about that. But I looked down at my comm as like already blinking and lighting up. And just put it straight to voicemail. I'll get back to them later.
The next thing we take care of is entanglements. This kind of reflects the movements, various movements and things in the galaxy that are going on beyond your ken. Entanglements are determined by your wanted level. You guys currently have no wanted level. So we are only going to roll 0 dice. So we're going to roll 2 and take the lower, same as with you guys.
Nice. What about romantic entanglements? Are we wanted like that?
You can indulge a pleasure vice during your downtime if you want.
Okay.
Of course.
Or start a long-term project of courting your soulmate.
Nobody wants Chaag.
Oh.
I want you, Chaag.
Well, Pappy wants you.
Oh, Pappy wants you.
I love you, Pappy.
I love you too, buddy.
So I think what we rolled here is ship trouble. And I think the thing that makes sense to me is because you had to make that hasty escape and kind of burn the engines to get out of there. And while you were in atmosphere, your engines will take 1 point of damage, which can be repaired during downtime. If you so wish.
Pappy, would you like to attempt fixing this?
Yeah, we can do that.
Very good.
Which brings us to downtime. Now, downtime can take place in a lot of ways. It can be when you're in port and you're all relaxing. It could be weeks between jobs and you're all, spreading off to do your own thing before coming back together. In this case, downtime will reflect the travel time on your ship as you fly back to see your fixer and turn in the artifact for your payment. Essentially, every downtime, each of you gets 2 activities. Seth.
Yeah.
What is your first downtime activity?
I would like to have Melvin check my hearing for a recover.
So you are going to, whenever you take the recover action, you automatically clear all level 1 harm. You then roll your ship's crew quality -1 or a crewmate's doctor ability. So Melvin, if you'd like to roll your doctor.
I would love to. That's going to be a 6 for you, buddy.
A 6, so that is 3. Tick your healing clock 3 times, Chaag.
And I have the move Flesh Wound as part of the Muscles playbook. And that's if you're wounded at the beginning of downtime, mark +3 segments on your healing clock. And there are 6 parts of a healing clock. So I just marked all of them.
Yep, when your healing clock is filled, you recover all harm. So your deafen is gone, the blaster bolts wounds are gone, and you have an empty healing clock now for next time because you rolled 3 and you add 3. Yeah.
Nice.
You were very brave, Chaag. Would you like a lollipop?
I was a brave boy. Can I have 2 lollipops?
Crunch, 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 crunch.
Only if you don't tell the others.
I won't say anything.
And I like go back into the cockpit, and I'm just like making like gnawing sounds on an empty popsicle stick. Like Pappy looks over like, what you got there?
Nothing.
Chaag, your second downtime action.
I only have 4 stress. I think I'm kind of good for now. I don't think I need to really indulge in my vice.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm going to train.
Sure. Which track are you training?
I'd like to train my playbook.
Okay, make 1 playbook XP.
Okay. I don't think we have a holodeck on the ship. I think you actually have to do an upgrade for that, right?
Yeah.
No, you have very limited comms and
We're freighter.
We need more
We have a
creds.
CV radio.
CV radio in space.
In space.
I think I'm just gonna set up a bunch of buckets, mops, and stuff, and like kind of make a little obstacle course where I have to scramble around, roll, jump, shoot, and keep myself sharpened and honed like that.
Absolutely.
That's my job. I kick ass.
The Scarab is a freighter, so you have a pretty big cargo hold in which to set all that up. Crates and such and obstacles to perform 100%. Melvin, what is your first downtime activity?
I believe I told Pappy that I was going to help him with repairing the engines.
So that is technically only costs 1 person's activity for that. So
I would
if
prefer you
want
do it
to-
because I need to heal my stress.
So if you want to just spend 1 activity to repair, then you absolutely can do that.
But we lose the money for that,
we
right?
do lose 1 cred.
It costs 1 cred to repair each
Yeah.
damage.
See, that one's kind of important, though. If it wasn't the engine, I'd say skip it.
Well, hold on. It's got 3 more spots. I think we're fine.
No, you're the pilot.
Importantly, it can only take as much damage as you have quality.
Never mind. Let's seal that up.
Gotcha. All right, so I'll spend the cred on that.
Second activity.
Piggybacking off of the bullet removal, I'm going to train my doctor trait to get that final little spot filled.
So you're going to train your insight
Oh, yeah.
XP track.
Yes.
So you're not going to fill in the action roll, but when you fill that track, you may add a dot to any of those actions.
Gotcha.
So you're going to put 1 XP in the insight track.
Insight gained. Gee whiz.
And Jane's first downtime activity.
Part of me would just love to just put a bunch of XP into one thing and try and min-max the shit out of my character.
Sure.
Not going to do that. I'm going to start a long-term project to look into who those people were that attacked us.
Okay.
So Jane starts, sort of semi-using their old friends' special abilities. But anyway, so Jane starts contacting some people trying to figure out who these strange, shadowy figures are, because she has no idea who the hell they are.
Yeah. So that sounds like consorting to me.
Yeah.
If you could try something else if you want, maybe study, but probably consort. This is going to be a 4-step clock to figure this out.
Okay.
So go ahead and we're going to call that investigate the Corvette.
All right. 4 and a 5, so 5.
A 5. So again, 2 ticks on that clock.
Right.
Jane's second activity.
I am very tempted to continue looking at this to tick that full thing off, but I think it'll be fun for a little bit of suspense there.
I agree.
So I am going to, Oh, look at that! We know who the villain is in the first.
Well, I mean, it would just. It's more. It's not so that not you would know who the villain is, but just in terms of like information overload, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. So I am just going to go into resolve, and I think honestly, just Jane calling around, talking to these contacts.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the practice of resolve right there. It's her still, without even realizing, working on her communication skills.
Yep.
So I mark an XP there.
Yep, just 1 XP.
Okay.
Casey, what is Pappy's first activity?
I think the first thing Pappy is going to do is indulge in his vice. And Pappy's vice is his faith.
What?
Yeah. It's a weird thing to be a vice, but all right.
He's an asteroid worshiper.
Yes, he worships
Oh my
asteroids.
God.
He believes that they are travelers of the eye and are essentially scouts for the eye.
That is
yeah.
so cool and so silly, and I love it.
I want to
Yeah,
know what
no,
Taloo thinks of that. I want to know if that was ever brought up in conversation.
I think Pappy has tried to probably get Taloo to be a little bit more open to the eye, and I think we could do a scene here too, because
Sure.
Pappy would be in the cockpit kind of looking out into space at all of the stars and possibly maybe some planets passing by. He has Beck just kind of guiding the ship on autopilot at this point. And there's maybe like a meteor or an asteroid that passes by, and instantly he just kind of like goes down and lies on his back and just kind of puts his hands up in a prayer position and just rocks a little bit, closing his eyes. And I think maybe Taloo like walks in as he's doing this.
Yeah, probably like, I don't know where exactly I'd be going. I don't know what my reason would ever to be this would be in the cockpit or like the...
I like that, like maybe Pappy, you've got maybe like holo charts up and stuff, like tracking asteroid painters, looking for, scanning for any sort of mineral deposits to try and find something. And then you see an asteroid fly by just out of the edge of your vision, lie down, and Taloo like comes up, is like, hey, someone was asking about, like almost steps on your face.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's the thing. Is this my first experience with you doing this? Or
you may have seen me do it in my bunk.
Okay.
If the door was open.
I just thought you were laying down.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, yes. Someone wanted to... Am I disturbing or am I miss something? You okay?
There's like a brief 5 to 10 second pause of him finishing up, and then he slowly sits up. You hear a couple bones or joints popping as he does so. Oh. And he says, "No, you're not interrupting nothing. What were you looking for, Taloo?"
Someone was asking about what is that? What are you doing? What is?
That was me just connecting with the eye. Is all.
Oh, you can do that.
Not to not nearly to the same extent as you, Taloo, but the eye is it's an interesting thing, and
it sure is.
It looks out for us. It sends its messengers, and I just saw one of them pass by. So,
I'm sorry. Who are we being followed?
No, it's nothing like that. It's the eye has eyes pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, you could say that.
It sends its scions out in asteroids. And
interesting. I can't say I ever recognized that specifically.
Well, it's not practiced too much no more. It's a little bit of remnant of home, I guess.
Oh, that's nice. Cool. Maybe I'll check into the next asteroid I see and see if I find something for you.
As Taloo turns to leave, I just kind of want to place a hand on her shoulder and just say, "You've been chosen by the eye. You shouldn't feel any sort of shame for something like that."
Yeah, it's not. That's not. It's other people that. Thank you. And then I would just turn and leave.
As you turn to leave, Taloo, the last thing you see in the room is the asteroid on the view screen, just barely as it exits the sensor range, and you do feel this little tingle on the back of your neck that could be nothing.
It's real.
It's real.
It's real.
Oh God!
Because
could just be the power of suggestion.
Part of that felt like Taloo was talking to a flat earther. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
a lot of grace and composure on their part.
Oh, you're one of those crazies.
Oh,
okay.
Did you draw that, sweetie? That's so cute. We'll put it right here.
Right on the fridge.
Yeah, I think if she does sense something, she just buttons up and just keeps walking. Right?
Yeah, it's not necessarily that you actually sense anything with your mystic abilities, but there's just a little tingle that. The same way if you're walking down a dark hallway and something moves out of the corner of your eye, you're like, I know that wasn't a ghost, but was that a ghost?
Yeah.
Yeah, but considering Taloo can kind of sense the fourth wall, that might mean something.
Yeah, you get.
Oh, I love it.
You get a little music stinger, like a little. Woo!
Yeah.
Seth, I'm waiting. I can't wait to hear it.
But I just did it right now. That's what it was.
Yeah. All right, and Rachel, what is Taloo's first
I
activity?
still have to roll my die, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so this is important. The way Indulging Your Vice works is much like a resistance roll, you're going to roll your attribute, but you're going to roll your lowest attribute because your vice targets your mental weak spot. So,
In my case, it's my physical weak spot.
you go.
I rolled a 4. I have 5 stress, so I'm back down to 1.
Clear 4 stress. That's very good. Wonderful. And Taloo, what is your first action?
Honestly, I think she would kind of work on trying to keep the artifact from making us detectable.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know where it is until somebody shows me where it is.
I'm sure that becomes crew knowledge. That's not something that's a secret. So this is going to be a 6-section clock.
Okay.
Called Shield the Artifact.
Okay.
And you are going to roll, and again, this is just like any other action in the game. You pick what action you're going to use to do this. You might rig something to do it. You might attune to the artifact directly and try to stop it from there. You might hack your sensors to kind of mask it somehow. There's a lot of options here.
Well, I think given my, I guess, recent interactions with it, I would try my best to attune.
Mm-hmm.
So with a whopping 2 die I roll.
Yeah, go for it.
Sick. I got a 5.
A 5.
Mm-hmm.
So on a long-term project, you mark 2 ticks on a 5.
Okay.
And when that fills to 6, the project is complete. And yeah, as you're just kind of on this trip, starting to attune with it, trying to figure out what it is, its purpose, what was that melody you were hearing earlier, and you're not getting a lot of feedback. You're not hearing any whispers, nothing like that you were in the temple, but you are aware that there's some kind of energy in there that you're trying to tap into.
Sick.
Pappy, second activity.
I'd love to work with Taloo to try and figure out how to mitigate them tracking us.
Sure. I don't know that there are rules about multiple people working on the same thing, but I don't see why you wouldn't be able to. So it probably isn't a tune for you. It's probably a different
I can rig. I could
action.
attune, but I can rig.
You can try to attune if you want, but if you want to try and rig some kind of
I'd
shielding
like
device.
to rig something up for it.
You get a lead box.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That is going to be a 4.
4, so that's another 2 ticks on that clock. Rachel, if you would.
On mine? Okay, cool.
Yep. And then your second activity. Now you can just work on this project again if you want, and
it's an important project,
given
I'd
this,
say.
Given this, but you could also train your XP or do something else if you like.
It is, that's pretty, yeah, I think I'll do, I'll work more towards, attuning to the artifact. Okay. I think that's high priority. I got a 6.
So that's 3 segments, but it's only a 6-7 clock. We've already filled up 4, which means you successfully complete that. So
nice.
in the short couple of days it takes to get back to your fixer, you guys actually managed to kind of crack the readings. Pappy, using your mechanical devices, figures out what radiation it's giving off that figure Jaina was tracking. And Taloo, as you're attuning to it, you managed to sort of help it kind of decrease its levels, build this like compartment to store it in that has some masking on the inside, some radiation shielding to reduce the mystical kind of energies that are coming off of it in waves, this giant 20-sided stone with little hover generators underneath so it's easy to transport. Just as you are putting the last thing in place on the compartment to seal it off, Taloo, you hear this tiny, tiny, tiny voice in your head. It doesn't sound anything like the whispers from before, so you're not even sure it's coming from the same place. But there is this tiny, tiny voice in your head that says, "Rocks can't talk." It's so quiet and subtle, you're not even sure if you really heard it. But then the last piece goes into place. Casey is glaring into his camera.
No, not even that. Casey just got so close to the camera.
What do you mean? I got so close to Jonas's face because we're all in the same room.
To my face for some reason.
Casey's leaning across.
Because you're the one who said
table.
rocks don't talk.
You guys meet up with your fixer, Death Blaze, a purple-skinned woman in a white suit who is obviously at all times trying to make herself seem much more intimidating than she really is. You guys are meeting Deathblaze, probably not on the train again.
Where does the train end?
Well, the train doesn't end. The train just goes through space.
Okay, but where does it stop? Like, what's a stop on the? Is she just on the train?
It stops at different planets, yeah.
Never stops. Get on the train.
Infinity train.
Maybe
It's still piercing.
like a bar on Skyline.
I was gonna say we just
Perfect.
airlock with them, but yeah, I like that.
All right, so you guys fly to Skyline, a small-ish planet. It's about the size of Mars, so something like 2/3 the size of Earth, I think. It is tidally locked to another planet that it is in a simultaneous orbit with. So as these two planets, Skyline and Haskavad, are going around the star, they are also orbiting each other in the Reiko system.
I was gonna say we should mention we're in a different system now.
Yes, we have jumped through from Mara to Reiko.
So what does that look like? Kind of like an infinity sign?
Title means they just right. They're just opposite.
I think as they spin in orbit, I think it would end up looking more like a helix, like a DNA helix
Okay.
over time, I think is what that would look like.
But also
It's kind of
around
like
the sun.
so it's like rather than being the orbit being a straight line, it kind of looks like a double sine wave, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay.
I think is how that would visualize.
And there's legends that one of them is going to push the other into the sun one day.
Sure, there are probably legends of that. Skyline, or the half of the planet that is tidally locked to Haskavad, is an ecumenopolis, which is to say a planet-covering city. The other half of Skyline, that is not facing Haskavad, has settlements and buildings on it, but it is much more sparse, and people call it the dark side. Even though it does face the sun sometimes, it doesn't have all those bright city lights. Haskavad, meanwhile, is similarly tidally locked to Skyline. They always face each other in the same direction. Haskavad is a giant artificial planet built by the ancient alien precursors throughout the galaxy, the Azo. Not much is known about them, except that they were highly technologically advanced and presumably the source of all the jump gates and other ancient technology that basically powers galactic society. Skyline is the home of the Compass Alliance in the Cetus sector. It's where Governor Catavan lives, and it also, being a half planet-sized city, is full of crime, seedy bars, people living their daily lives. You can find pretty much anything on Skyline. It's huge. So we dock at Skyline in a commercial shipping area. You guys find, one of the millions and millions of neighborhoods sectioned out of the planet-sized city. Having made contact ahead of time with Deathblaze, your fixer, to meet in a specific bar. The bar in this case is Club Carsino. Their symbol is a little steel crab that is embossed on all of the drinks and things. Club Carsino it actually used to be a space station that they landed on the planet.
Oh, that's cool.
And settled. And the space station itself very vaguely resembles a giant crab. So you guys meet Deathblaze in a back corner of this club. And before we get to that conversation, what I want to know is, what's everyone's experience with sort of a public area like this, with Skyline in particular? As you're going through the club, is there anything interesting you notice? What kind of music is playing? Who's on the dance floor? That kind of thing?
I see someone that I know, Magpie Magerson, the bartender.
Yes.
I know them very well, as I'm a frequent purveyor of their establishment back in the day.
Does
Maggie
Magpie Magerson enjoy magnets?
She does, actually. She really does. And she loves taking the mag line to the mag rail to work as well.
All of the shakers and devices she has are magnetic, so that that's how she makes all her drinks.
I just totally thought it'd be a really cool aesthetic if the wall behind the bar has just a bunch of magnets from different places and kind of like snow globe collection, but it's magnets.
It's magnets, and also what you also see is that on the bar behind there are also dozens and dozens of vibro blades and blaster pistols.
Yeah.
As the club's security measure is you check in your weapons by sticking them to the wall, essentially.
Hey,
Oh, God.
that's pretty cool.
My gun has a computer in it from 1996. Oh, there goes all my data.
you just see it blue screening.
I had a bunch of save files on there.
I feel very strange walking into here.
All my .bmps.
Why is that, Melvin? Why do you feel strange?
I just feel like being pulled in every direction. I cannot tell why.
Who made you magnetic?
Someone who did not think things through.
You guys edge around the dance floor with your big hovering compartment containing the artifact, which the compartment obviously is even bigger, so it's you pretty obviously transporting something that you probably shouldn't be.
They don't check it for guns or anything?
Jane's friend of the bartender. Maggie waves her in.
Yeah.
Or actually, they probably can scan it with for some kind of weaponry inside, and because it's built to mask signals from inside, just comes up blank.
I
so they're
slip
totally
her
fine.
some expired credits, hoping she doesn't notice that they're expired.
Credits expire?
Yeah, money expires in this universe.
It's
I
like
see
a gift card.
World building. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like gift cards.
Everything's a Visa gift card.
I wanted to put this around the like who made Melvin magnetic, and just to point out that Melvin was hanging around the ship's engines for a little bit there.
So you guys
clever.
take this compartment, this chest, essentially, back into the predetermined room where you want to meet Deathblaze. And as you go inside, the first thing that strikes you in this little private room, you're immediately on edge because you don't see Orchid, Deathblaze's Kydian giant mantis bodyguard. In all the time you guys have worked with Deathblaze, which is probably a couple months, she doesn't go anywhere without Orchid. You never see the two apart. And when you walk in this room, the giant mantis is not there.
That's not good.
No.
The second thing you notice is Deathblaze is sitting in a booth, kind of slumped back. Obviously, the shadows are kind of are covering them up, and they have in their hand a little cred stick, clutched very tight. And you notice that their skin, the purple skin, even in the weird color lighting of the club, is a little pale.
Oh my god, she's dead.
She's totally dead.
Jade walks forward and is just like, "Hey, Deathblade, we got," and like puts a hand on their shoulder, and they just flop over you. Just goes, "Jesus, I mean, whatever, God, Jesus, space Jesus,
The eye!
the eye."
Hey, have you guys seen Big Bug? I don't see them around.
No, but Deathblade's dead. I quickly
Well, grab the stick and let's get out of here.
I motioned to like Taloo to like shut the door immediately.
I shut the door.
Door shuts. You're now alone in a room with a dead body in a booth, still clutching that cred stick.
We don't know she's dead. She could be napping.
Hold on, I can check for a pulse. No pulse detected. They are dead.
Can I study the body?
You might not have to, depending on, again, this game says don't roll if it's not worth rolling
Cool.
for. So what are you looking for?
How she died?
I can tell you how she died.
We're going to call this a fortune roll as you gather information. There's no stakes here. There's no consequence if you fail. This just determines the quality of the information you receive.
Great.
So go ahead and roll with whatever attribute you want to use, and I'll tell you exactly how detailed you're able to figure it out.
And if you get a 6, you get money.
I got a 1.
You got a 1.
No money for you, champ.
Uh,
Not very fortuitous.
No consequences. It's fine.
A 1. You are only able to determine that there was no obvious harm. There's no blaster bolts, no vibroblade marks, nothing like that.
Jane goes up and checks their neck real fast.
You kind of pull away at Deathblaze's collar, and you see there is a single ugly black puncture wound just below the jaw.
Yeah. Is it what I think it is?
Ooh, where's...
You would expect more puncture wounds if it's what you think it is.
Oh, okay.
But it's certainly in that realm.
Taloo says, Jane, what are you thinking?
I'm worried that it might be a volley, which is a equivalent of what a space vampire is.
Yes, volley are these huge bat-like aliens, Xenos in this universe are called, with like bat-like heads and big bustling chests and wings.
Doesn't seem that way, though. I had no idea. Melvin, you want to try and see if they were poisoned or something?
If it's alright with you all,
How about a spider?
I might have to open up a bit to get a true fluid sample.
What kind of fluids you're looking for?
Poisons. Get your mind out of the gutter, Pappy. You're better than this.
Melvin, if you similarly want to make, this is another fortune roll to gather info.
Surely.
Now, there is an ability that you don't have that kind of allows you to study things, but I will let you roll either your study or your doctor here, I think, to again try and get basic information.
Yeah, I'll use my doctoring. Doctoring is what I do best, and that's going to be a 5.
5. So what you determine from this, again, without tools or like specialized skill, you can't really get a lot of specifics. A volley, they are able to essentially drain people's blood with puncture wounds that look a lot like that. but you suspect that this puncture wound was used to inject something into Deathblaze's system. And as you guys are kind of crowded around Deathblaze here, Taloo is covering the door, Chaag is kind of in front of the door and blocking it out. You hear the music outside stop.
Uh-oh.
Well,
Jane turns over to Chaag and Taloo and is just like, one of you check that out real fast. Jane, quick as anything, grabs the cred stick out of the hand and tucks it into her. Checks the expiration date. Are we good?
It's good.
All right, good.
Can I try and sense what's through the door without opening it?
You absolutely can. That sounds like you might want to attune to the eye.
Yes, I would love to. I would absolutely love to. Let's see. I got a 4.
A 4. So, okay, I have a consequence.
Fun.
You reach out and you sense, still all the club goers are here. Maggie is there at the bar. And you sense somewhere near the entrance are 3 new figures who are thinking about you guys.
Uh-oh.
And with a 4, you don't get a strong connection. They're a psychic connection, but you sort of get the senses of the words Fury, Artifact, and Dexheart.
Oh, no! No!
Uh-oh.
And the consequence of that mixed success is that you then feel whoever's mind you're touching lock onto yours.
We got bogeys.
And that is where we will call our second session.
No.
Oh,
damn.
what did you do?
What's the problem? Someone's thinking of you.
That is true. Maybe
There's your long-term connection.
It's a romantic entanglement.
Maybe they're just furiously in love with me.
They could be. We don't know.
Now, we are going to jump into something that we left off the end of last episode in order to jump into the sway of things here. But the one other big element of this game, much like actions, I don't give you guys XP. You get to decide how much XP you think you've earned at the end of every session.
I get 20.
A bajillion.
Now, there are rules about not being a weasel.
Oh.
And I can have input, but at the end of the day, it's up to you to decide if you really qualified for it or not. And it's just kind of on the honor system.
Okay.
There are a number of XP triggers. The second 2 are the same for everyone. The first one is relevant to your playbook. So for example, Chaag, what is your first XP trigger as a muscle?
You addressed a tough challenge with force or threats.
Whereas Pappy's first XP trigger.
You address a tough challenge with speed or flair.
So that kind of reflects what your playbook is meant to be doing. And then the other 2 are just about, basically, did you roleplay enough? Because the game wants you to roleplay. So we are going to run through these. You get, for each of those triggers, you get 1 XP if you did it one kind of important time, or 2 XP if you did it more than once. And again, it's kind of on you to decide what that means. I can offer input, but I don't decide for you. And Vice or Traumas probably didn't actually happen. That one, I don't think anyone's getting XP for that one today because nothing, no problems came up and no one has any trauma. So let's
I
just
have
go around.
trauma. I just
Different kind of trauma.
I just didn't really deal with it.
Just outside.
So we'll go around. Let's start with Pappy.
Okay, well, from the first session, I definitely think I addressed a tough challenge with speed or flair in either taking the lead on getting us out of the cave or, well, maybe not having the ship prepped.
I think, again, it's on you, honor system aside. I would not blink an eye if you also counted your rocket boosters.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. The rocket boosters
totally
for the
fine.
second one. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
I don't think I did any beliefs drives. Well, maybe some beliefs.
Yeah.
When I was talking about ghosts, because that's kind of a thing about
Ghosts,
for him.
Scared. Yeah, absolutely.
But you also did the asteroid talk.
Yeah, that I was getting to that because that was this session, not last session. But yeah, so I would definitely mark that for this session. I did the asteroid talk as well. So 4 total, I guess.
Okay, so 3 from last session. Or sorry,
2 from last session, 2 from this one.
That makes sense to me. Cool. So you can spread out that XP however you want. So you can focus on one thing if you want a new ability or a new action dot. You can just kind of spread it around if you want. There's no real specific reason to do that unless you're not sure what you want next.
Gotcha.
And let's jump over to Melvin.
All right. Well, I did some doctoring the last session. Well, in this session.
You did.
So I assume I get a couple XP there. Other than that, I don't think I really hit any of the other markers. So Unless I just keep on piling
Well,
on.
what's your
Doctor.
first one?
Oh, I addressed a tough challenge with insight or compassion.
You do that a lot.
I mean, I gave a lollipop to Chaag. Does that count?
So I think that's definitely 2 XP for you for this session.
Yay.
And insight, I think you were very insightful last session, so perhaps 1 if that, or 2 if you think you had a couple different moments. I think in a lump sum 3 for that.
Sweet.
Your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. I think you, just being a robot kind of gives you a lot of leeway to express your drives and background no matter what.
Yeah.
So I would give you at least 1 of each. Again, I don't give them, but I wouldn't blink at 1 at least for each session, which would put you at 5 total, or more if you think you deserve it.
Gotcha. I'll take 3. I think 3 is a fair little marker to have.
Okay, I think you definitely at least had 1 of each thing in both sessions, so you're at least at 4.
Gotcha. Okay.
Don't sell yourself short, Andrew.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's really, the game really just says, hey, did you do the thing you want to be doing? Yeah, good. Here's a reward. Don't cut yourself out of anything.
Very fair.
Let's jump up to Sky.
Let's see here. I think for the session a week ago, I barely remember at this point.
Very hazy.
I definitely you address a tough challenge with deception and influence. Talking to the comptroller at on the planet was not a tough challenge, so I don't think that really counts.
That's fair.
I don't think I got any XP from that first session then, unfortunately. Like, I definitely was chatting away and being all Janey, but I mean, I guess I did drink.
I think you got your drink. I think you
I
expressed
did
your
drink.
beliefs with the drink.
Yeah.
All right.
I think you definitely express your beliefs, drives, heritage, and background
I
several
think
times.
I
though.
heard, a drink open at the beginning of
That's
each
an
yeah.
auto XP trigger
I
every
think-
time I do that.
Struggle with issues from your
at the
vice.
very
Yeah.
least for the first episode, for
All
sure.
right, then I will count 2 for the first one. And then for this one, I think I'm going to go for 3 because I did address multiple tough challenges with deception or influence.
Mm-hmm.
And
For
then express your beliefs, drives, and heritage. There's always the alcohol thing, but then also talking about the valley. I didn't really get to go into it, but that is part of Jane's
Yeah,
background.
no, absolutely.
Yeah. So
That's 5 total.
I ding on resolve.
Congratulations, you get another action dot in resolve. Seth, what's Chaag get?
I think does my immediate firing at the end of last week's episode count?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 1
for sure.
And I'm gonna say I expressed some beliefs and drives through some of my
Yeah.
role play in the last
I
episode.
agree.
Heavily into snacking because
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
vice, as I've written it down, is just like to be pampered.
Aw.
That's why you got 2 lollipops.
Yeah.
And for today?
Today, I'm going to give myself 2 XP for using force because boy, howdy, did I use some force.
That's just weird.
So at 4, I didn't do a lot of role playing this episode.
I don't think that's true. I think there was a lot of
I think I
you
weren't
did
any
one.
big scenes, but I think you had plenty of things to say.
Oh, okay. Then I will give myself 1, and I'll have 5 total.
There you go. And Taloo.
Yeah. So I don't know. Thinking back to last episode, was that temple a tough challenge? I definitely worked with the eye to kind of, figure out what was going on there and get us into the vaults. But was that a tough challenge?
I think that was a tough challenge. I think there were consequences there that you might not have run into.
Okay. Cool. So then
A big spooky scary place full of ghosts.
yeah,
So many
I
ghosts.
think at least an XP for that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know necessarily if I talked a lot about did I talk about my background?
You've been very vague about it,
A little
but
bit.
In general, what that bullet point is asking is, did you role play in character at all? Really?
Then yeah.
You expressed your beliefs and drives at least, and certainly some other things.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then sure, I guess I'll take 1 for
So 2 for last
for
time.
both. So 2 for last episode. And then this episode definitely worked that, scene with Pappy definitely I think counts. And then also I would say covering up the
Yep.
whatchamacallit, what are we calling it?
Artifact?
The artifact. I think that was a tough challenge that I worked with I with.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Does anyone else think it's not fair if I said 2 for that, or is that me being?
I don't think
2
that's
for
not
what?
fair at all.
I think
2
you're good.
for working
2
with the eye for this.
Wisdom or the eye.
Yeah,
You also
wisdom
shared a
or
lot of
the-
wisdom today.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
think I
want to
did.
delay you getting better because you're on my team, and you being better on my team
I
would
don't know.
make
I
me
don't
look
wanna
bad.
I don't want to sound greedy.
Rachel,
I'm so-
I took 4 for drinking. Like, just you're gonna be okay. You have way more ground than I did.
Then I think you're right. I think I'm good with 5 for both.
All right.
Absolutely,
That's-
you can
There
take
you
5.
go.
So
Sure.
take all that XP, put
Ring
it
a
wherever you
ding.
want.
Cool.
And with that, we close out this episode. And does anyone have anything they'd like to plug?
I'll just get out of the way. Come watch me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Majora's Rose. Follow me everywhere else at Rachel Kordell.
Woo! I'm TINTENSEHER on Linktree, which will take you to my Twitch, my YouTube, and my other socials, as well as my itch.io, where I publish short RPGs and things, which I've been doing about once a month, and I'm going to keep that up for the foreseeable future, including this month's The Machines We Built, a light narrative RPG about robots in the post-apocalypse. You can play a toaster. Doesn't have to be a real toaster, but it can be. Check it out. Thank you.
Go ahead and check out the Kickstarter for Blue Hundreds. If you want to see me in anything live action, you can check me out in the little spots, little scenes that we did for that to kind of help promote it, I guess, help promote the idea. You can find those on YouTube. Just look up Blue Hundreds by Detention Entertainment Films.
Hey, step over here with me, please. Okay, come
what's
close.
up?
No, not you guys.
Oh,
Please,
sorry.
We'll give you guys some space.
Please, yeah, me in the audience. Hey, gang. I really need some help getting some reviews in. So if you could, I don't know, leave a review on Apple Podcasts.
Someone pass the chips.
Stop talking over there. It's my turn. Okay. Anyway, yeah, if you could leave a review on Apple Podcasts, that'd be really great. Like write a review. Don't just put stars. Write some things. Like you listen to this whole episode. Please tell me what you thought. Like, come on. I need it. I'm dying over here. I'm not really dying over here. You don't have to do this, but please do this. It helps us.
Jeez.
You're not supposed to listen to this. All right, we can go back to the group.
Wait, Seth, do you mind if I step in real fast? Just come into the room here.
Oh my God, did you just...
I got to talk to them as well.
How did you get in here?
I came in through the back.
I thought I locked the door.
We are already such overtime.
Hey, if you leave a review on this podcast, if you give us that good 5-star, we'll give you a shout out as well. Hey, good job, Seth. I'll see you later.
Okay, thanks, dude.
Hey, do you guys mind if I say something real quick?
Oh my God, how did you get in here?
The door's unlocked.
I thought I locked it.
Hey, you really gotta make sure you do that in the future.
Okay,
I mean,
whatever. Say what you're gonna say.
any guy can just walk in here and just ruin everything. But I just want to say, Dan, thanks for listening. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, hey, Dan.
And there's a lot of
Leave us a
podcasts
review,
out
Dan.
there, Dan, but you picked this one, and hey, kudos to you for that.
In the fake room I invented, I'm giving Dan a high five.
Hey guys, I couldn't find the chips. Do you know where they are?
Casey,
Oh
we
my
told you
God.
not to be here.
What?
Get out of here,
I can't with
Casey.
you. I thought you guys had the chips.
Goodbye.
Snooping around everywhere.
I was just looking for a good snack.
Casey, you know the closet is your
Session, I'm
space.
hungry,
That's
you know,
your
it's-
space. Get in
Listen,
there.
it's okay.